I would like to call this meeting of the Festus City Council to order. Roll call, please.
Councilman Boyer,
Here.
Councilman Collier,
Here.
Councilman Venz,
Here.
Councilman Cook,
Here.
Councilwoman Templeton. Here. Councilman Weiner,
Here.
Councilman Tenen,
Here.
Councilman Dennis is absent.
We do have a quorum. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Tonight's bills total $769,580.80.
So moved.
Motion's been made and seconded, and roll call, please.
Councilman Weiner,
Yes.
Councilman Tenen, Councilman Boyer,
Yes.
Councilman Collier,
Yes.
Councilman Venz,
Yes.
Councilman Cook.
Yep.
Councilwoman Templeton.
Yes.
Motion has passed. Remarks of visitors,
None, sir.
bids.
None, sir.
We'll move right along to ordinances and resolutions. Tonight, we have bill number 4809 on the agenda. Would the clerk please read this bill for the first time?
Bill number 4809, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, annexing to the city certain real property described herein, determining that said annexation is reasonable and necessary to the proper development of said city, and that the city has the ability to furnish normal municipal services to the area to be annexed, and specifying the new boundary lines to which the city limits are extended by reason of said annexation.
Bill 4809 is now open for discussion. This is the property at 11780 County Road, CC.
It's the Twin City Church of Christ.
Is there any discussion?
Next to the church or pretty close to the church that have already been annexed?
Yeah. This one was just a little, we didn't get in the first group. We
Yeah.
were waiting for some paperwork from the church. But yeah, we did, on both sides of the road, around the church. Virtually all of those have come in the last round of annexations we did.
So the road right past the church, I think it's Dunaway. Was it Dunaway? Dunaway. Yeah,
Mhm.
so Dunaway's come in as well?
One has.
One house?
Yeah.
Okay. That's as far as we've picked up though?
Correct.
Dunaway. Okay, thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, is there any council member that would like this bill carried over to the next meeting? Hearing none, do I have a motion to suspend the rules and read Bill 4809 for the second time in title only?
So moved.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, would you please read Bill 4809 for the second time?
Bill number 4809, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, annexing to the city certain real property described herein, determining that said annexation is reasonable and necessary to the proper development of said city, and that the city has the ability to furnish normal municipal services to the area to be annexed, and specifying the new boundary lines to which the city limits are extended by reason of said annexation. Councilman Collier,
Yes.
Councilman Venz,
Yes.
Councilman Cook,
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton,
Yes.
Councilman Weiner,
Yes.
Councilman Tenen.
Yep.
Councilman Boyer.
Yes.
Bill 4809 has passed. New business.
No, sir.
Old business.
No, sir.
Well, we're gonna set a record here. Councilman Boyer,
I have nothing.
thank you. Councilman Weiner,
Bobby, when you brought up the annexation tonight, you know, I've been on here approximately 10 years and we haven't really dealt with it so much since I've been here. And I think we're at a, pardon me, we're kind of at a crossroads right now because the city is going to grow. And what I'm just in the back of my mind concerned about is when cities have grown in the past, they're based on the equation of the infrastructure, water, sewer, police, fire, whatever it may be that was for that time. I'm concerned that because of perhaps a changing political climate, the things could be different for us going forward. And if things are different for us going forward, I would just be concerned that we do this in a conservative rather than a more aggressive way. Because I don't know what those equations are. I don't know if they're going to be changed, if they'll exist, if they won't exist. But I think it's something that we need to keep in mind. That's all I have, sir.
absolutely. Thank you. Councilman Cook.
Thank you. Greg, I've been getting, and we've talked, several complaints about the trash service, and I don't know when the point is of we start looking into something, but I feel like we're about there. Cause the trash service company, I feel like is not doing what the contract says. We're paying a full amount. They're delivering a not so good a service. So at what point do we start saying, okay, it's time to start discussing things?
Well, if it's any indicator, last week I pulled our contract out just to see where we are. 2026. I also did some rooting around for RFPs and RFQs that we would be able to use. As you recall, I think we're on our third extension with Waste Connections. And it would be worthwhile for us next year, before the end of 26, early in 26, for us to solicit proposals from other firms who provide similar services to see. I think more than anything else, it is a service-based delivery, and basing that entirely on cost is perhaps something that we should not do because of their ability, whoever the provider is, to navigate some of our alleys and streets. I know Michael has worked feverishly since he's been with us to try to accommodate certain areas of town where the waste hauler not suddenly, but certainly has made it known that they're having issues trying to serve this area, whether it's an alley that's overgrown, whether it's a private street that needs a separate pickup area. Our guys have worked very hard with Waste Connections to try to accommodate them, but after a while, how much do we have to do to make their job easier? So we'll continue to do that. Obviously, we're still 2 years away from the end of this extension, but I would recommend to council at this time that when we get to this time next year, that we issue an RFQ and go ahead and see. And Waste Connections may prove to be the best provider because of their familiarity and the disruption in service. I mean, you're talking about everybody turning in their totes and everybody getting brand new ones. There's going to be some bumps in the road if we do change providers, but I think that's something we should consider moving forward.
Okay, because right now I'm a hard sell on renewing with them because my phone's been blowing up quite a bit.
I think it's pretty obvious. Yeah.
And then, Mary, pass along to the library staff, congratulations. Greg already covered earlier. The library took first place again. We're not going to mention the words three-peat since that was a disaster, but we're just going to say, keep running it back. How's that? So please pass along to staff. Congratulations and job well done. And then last, Greg and Josh, is a couple weeks ago that we had a stretch of nice weather at the park, and I went out there and oh my God, it was crowded. Awesome to see, but it revalidated my concerns when the splash pad opens that it's going to be chaotic over there. So I'm still not real comfortable. And if we can look into the playgrounds, maybe changing design to a drainage type mulch instead of losing our mulch when we have like rain, snow, or
This is a port and plate surface.
okay.
It's a rubberized surface. There will be no mulch.
Next few years, we can do that to the existing structures that we have here.
So when you say next few years, what would prevent us from trying to do it all? Is it manpower? Is it contractor?
It's contractor, it's nothing we can do in-house.
Okay,
but
'cause I don't want-
it
I
does
don't wanna
come with
go-
cost. So I'd have to figure out what
I
square footages we have. I mean, especially the major ones, Stage Field Playground, Joker's Park. Those would be the two to go first. Get rid of the mulch in, so.
yeah, 'cause I would like to see good plan, the high traffic areas, and if it's a money situation, I would like to have council have the opportunity to discuss it instead of just making a plan, because it was heavily used, heavily. And then we retain a lot of water right there in front, and I would like to see us possibly putting some culverts underneath and getting that water out since a road tire and get it off that main field and go ahead and get it to the creek. Shouldn't take that much of a project. Could just be a little grading, put two culverts underneath our little road there and rip wrap the ends and we can get that water right out of there. I'm pretty sure our public works director could probably almost unofficially engineer that. So, because that water stays there till it evaporates basically in front.
Where are you talking about?
Snow and everything else. And we also had it beat down from the light show. So
Oh, okay.
Well, summertime's usually dry though, because we have a great inlet I see, but if you shoot eyeball grade, it's not a fall at all. So, yeah,
It's ideal.
yeah, I'd like to see something possibly to get that water out, and that would solve a lot of issues and it would look better. It's not aesthetic. And if we're gonna put this nice splash pad in and they're using the walking trail and it's getting more used, I'd like to see the bathrooms improve and I'd like to see the aesthetic of the park improve as well. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman Collier.
Getting to the library, just like Mike said, that contest, we did very good. Kind of gave us a little scared when we was down there though, because it showed us in third place. But I think we were kind of playing the old sly game of holding back until the end, which that's a good thing. Congratulations to you and your staff. And the library is something that you don't realize what we have and what it is until you actually go in there and observe it. When I was there, I was really amazed at the facilities and everything that we had. And before that event, library, yeah, that's a library, they got books. Well, our library, I think, has got a whole lot more than just the books. They got some good programs, and all kinds of things. And I think that's something that we need to really promote and have our citizens made aware of it so that they can take advantage of it. And that's all I have, sir.
All righty, sir. Thank you, Councilwoman Templeton.
Well, Mike stole my trash situation request, so that was taken care of. That's right. Yeah, when you start hearing that people's trash hasn't picked up like the last couple of cycles, that's an issue. I mean, routinely we hear it about the yard waste and that type of thing, but this was regular trash and it was outside of the storms. So that's, that's a quality of life kind of thing there. So congratulations to the library, of course. So I think you will make the three-peat. So you're not gonna worry about Kansas City. Other than that, nothing else that anybody else hasn't already said.
All right, thank you, Councilman Vins.
Congratulations also on that library. I was glad to contribute to that. That was
That was I was very honored to do that. And, that's about it, sir.
All right, thank you. Councilman Timmon.
A couple questions. Chief Wendell, whatever happened to that tow truck deal? I was thinking about that the other day. Does that sound like shit to talk about?
We have reissued out the agreed upon terms to the two current companies we are using, which is McCain's and Pippin's. They both agreed to the new fee structure that we had in place at this point in time. Miners Towing is still expressing an interest in coming on board. However, until they get up and running with all of their conditions of their lot requirements, some of that stuff they can't do until the spring. It's planting some trees and a few other things to get into full compliance with county code. Until they can get that done, they're not being utilized at this point in time. As soon as they get all of that done and the county contacts me and says they are up and fully running legally, at that point in time, if they wish to come on, they will sign the same agreement that Pippin's and McCain's did to be a part of that towing agreement.
So we're not gonna choose just one company to do.
I'm not bringing it up again, sir.
Okay, I'll bring it up next time too. The other one, what happened to the trash service? Okay, so I've never, at my house, I've never had any problems with it, but probably the last 6 months, something's different.
Well, a couple things, and I don't want to make any of this sound like an excuse, because obviously the level of service has been awful. And we've expressed that. Our local guy, Ben, left Waste Connections. Ben lived here in Festus and he got a job with another company. He went away. Anytime we had an issue, we called Ben up, took care of it, right? So, our local is not a local person anymore. Now they still, they're all coming out of, Richwoods, basically where their landfill is. But they've had a lot of turnover in drivers. They have seemingly, dedicated themselves to using exclusively one size of truck, which are the ones that can do the automatic. They're one driver trucks now. There's nobody else on the truck with them. So the larger trucks have difficulty getting into parts of town where the older trucks didn't have an issue, or when there was another person on the truck with the driver. And those are changes they made. Those are issues that are entirely on them, and it's not fair. It's not fair to our residents, because we're paying more now for a service that is not as good as it was 2 years ago. Now, January, clearly the first 2 or 3 weeks of the month, yeah, there were some parts around town that they probably couldn't get in and out of because of the winter weather. But it's gone, and they ought to be able to do it. And I know there were residents that had 2 or 3 weeks where their trash didn't get picked up, and that's just unacceptable.
So do you think though that, how long have they been in this contract?
So the city was contemplating, the original, or no, it was the first amendment to the original contract in 2017 when I arrived. And we extended it then, and it was a 4 or 5 year deal. And then we extended it a second time. And then we extended it a third time about 2 years ago. And a lot of those changes that I'm talking about have happened in the last 2 years. So about the time we renewed with them and are in this current extension of the contract, is about when all those changes took place. Whether it was in management, whether it was staffing, whether it was equipment, whether it was just their earnestness to get out there and get it done. And again, I think our guys have been very good and try to be as accommodating as possible to make sure that if they have something that is a problem for them operationally, that we do what we can to make sure that that gets fixed. But just not picking it up, no.
Do you think, so they didn't, In those extensions, did they get pay raises?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's just the fact that, since everything has gone crazy, they can't keep employees because they can't pay them enough and all that stuff.
The drivers have been a contributing factor. There were, prior to COVID, you had the same guys on the same routes
Right.
and they knew where to go and they knew what to do. And now it's one guy in a truck by himself and he may be only with the company. I mean, if there's a tenured driver working for Waste Connections, they've probably been there 12 months, maybe. They go through them pretty quick.
Something I saw this morning and I've never seen this before. I was driving through Bailey Station and they had, I'm sure there was 3 trucks. And I always thought one truck ran the whole route through the subdivisions, but I counted 3 trucks in there running routes. And I thought that was a little excessive. But I don't know why they did that.
Sometimes they do that to play catch up.
Well, I was gonna say that.
Yeah. I mean,
Because the whole deal, it used to be like, I always thought the same truck was picking up. I mean, this might sound crazy, but I thought the same truck was picking up these recycles and the trash. And I always wondered why they would do that and throw them all in the same truck when we're going through and putting them in different bins. That's the way it was in my house.
Mhm.
But now they do pick up.
yeah, recyclables they do run the same trucks, but
You know what?
they're
That-
using the compactor just for recycling.
That might be what they were doing at Bailey Station. One truck might have been picking up trash and
It was doing recyclables. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
third guy, I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
But they don't use the smaller trucks anymore to get a tighter.
No,
radius.
and that, I think that's part of it is they've gone with these single size trucks. They used to have a variety of trucks.
Right.
And some of that may have just been because those trucks are older and these trucks are newer. And they phased them all out. But the trucks that they have now they're the big ones that you see going up and down
Yeah.
the street, and they don't have a smaller size truck anymore. Not that I'm aware of. I pretty much see only the same ones.
I think that we're gonna see that.
Hmm. Yeah.
I think with the labor problem, we're gonna see that in just about anything we
Yeah.
go with.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's all I have there.
Okay.
All righty, sir. Thank you. The Cultural Diversity Luncheon is February the 22nd, starting at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. City bought a table. I have 10 tickets. So anyone that would like to attend, please see me and I will give you the tickets. I don't have anything earth-shattering to talk about. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. This meeting is adjourned.